Hey, Kingdom Millionaires, welcome back. We're going to go through a 3-part series called Financial Awareness, where you're going to learn what financial awareness is, the 4 types of financial awareness: programmed, identity, created, and desired. And then why is financial awareness important? Why should we know or become aware of where we are or where we stand financially? Let's dive in. What is financial awareness? Financial awareness is the state of knowledge and understanding that something is happening with your finances or existing in your finances. Having awareness of your finances on a conscious level and being able to have knowledge, realization, and perception of your financial circumstances. So, what does this all mean? First of all, I want to point out that we have 2 minds. We have a conscious mind, which is our state of awareness, which is being aware of what's currently happening around us at the moment or moment by moment. And then we have the subconscious mind, which is what's been already programmed on the inside of us, or learned behavior. We operate on or off of our subconscious mind 95% of the time. What happens is it's the autopilot to our actions, right? It's the autopilot to our decisions. It's where we already have these formed financial habits from what we have previously learned and what's previously been programmed within us. So, for example, as this relates to our finances, when we're faced with a need, for instance, this is just one example. We're faced with a need. We already have a programmed, learned belief deep down on the inside of us as it relates to our finances, as it relates to ourselves, as it relates to God, but all dealing around our finances. And so a lot of times this program belief, or one of them, is that we don't have enough. So when we're faced with this need, we're already making a decision on autopilot based upon our belief that we don't have enough. So one of the habits that we usually do is we'll pull out a credit card. Now, we already believe we don't have enough, and what we go on, the action that we go on to create is to create more results, money results of not having enough, because the habit is that the action is that we're pulling out this credit card. And again, this is just one example. Think of your subconscious as on autopilot, as when you think about brushing your teeth, you think about directions, driving in your car, when you go to work, when you go to the store, different things like that. These are brushing your teeth, going to work. These are things that you have previously learned. They're already learned patterns of behavior that exist on the inside of you. And so you don't think about making a decision or going to brush your teeth or how to brush your teeth. You don't make those type of decisions. It's already programmed on autopilot within you. If you know directions to some place, you're not sitting there trying to figure out how to get there. You've already learned how to get there. So on autopilot, you're bringing yourself or driving yourself to that place. Now think about, let's say if you're driving to some place new, you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to understand it. You're trying to learn it. That's on a conscious level. But when you form the learning of it, right, it gets transitioned into your subconscious level. And so every time you go to that place, it's on autopilot, the directions and how you're getting there. So think of it the same way. When we have needs and we have financial decisions and different things that are going on in our lives financially, we already have these learned behaviors and belief patterns that have been programmed into us since we were kids, since we were younger, all the way up into our adult years. And so they have already formulated specific habits or specific things that we're going to do when we're faced with the decision of trying to understand how to obtain this need. And so we live on autopilot. And this is the number one reason financial change doesn't happen. because we never bring our financial circumstance back to the front of our awareness. So we learn these habits and these patterns. We learn, and this program belief is programmed within us. And we just go day in and day out, generation after generation. We never bring back to the forefront of our awareness what we're actually doing. We're just agreeing and aligning with what's been programmed in us, and we're saying this is just what it must be. And so awareness kickstarts the process to change behavior, because we've been on autopilot with learned behavior. So no matter what we try to do different, financially, we will always resort back to this learned behavior. And this is why a lot of times it's like, okay, we get these excitements, right? I want to make more money, or I want to do something different. And we get these visions, or we start a new stream of income, or we start a new business, etc. And we get this excitement in us. And then 1 month, 2 months down the line, it's like we're not the same person. We're not interested in doing it anymore. It becomes difficult. We're not consistent at it anymore. We've fallen apart, as in trying to do something different, trying to change our financial result. It's because no matter what we try to do, unless we change this learned behavior and unless we change the belief patterns, we're never going to be able to totally shift our finances. So we have to bring this learned behavior to the front, and we have to deal with it. We have to realize it. We have to perceive or become aware that there's a problem that exists, or that there are financial habits that are happening. And then we have to unlearn by learning something new, learning new knowledge, new information from the place that you desire to be. How do we do this? And this is just a brief explanation, but in my academy, I will teach my students how to do it more. So we've been learning about income, outcome, and cash flow. So first, you want to get that number. Your total income minus your total outcome equals your total cash flow. And as I've been explaining, a lot of times that's negative, or it's break even, or it's not an amount that we feel satisfied with as far as being able to go forth and live life in a comfortable manner. You have to sit with the reality of that. You have to realize it, sit with it, look at it. A lot of times we avoid it and we ignore it because we don't want to deal with it because of the number that exists. And because we feel like, or we think we don't know how to change it. So we ignore it, we sweep it under the rug, we go on with life, but yet we're still creating more of a negative cash flow. You also want to get on the other side of the piece of paper. If money was no issue, how much would your income or cash flow be? If money wasn't an issue, if time wasn't an issue, if there were literally nothing standing in your way, what would your desired income or desired cash flow be? And you want to look at that number and sit with that number. And then you want to compare the two. You want to do a little analyzation and compare the two details, because you want to understand three things. What is happening right now? What is happening with the cash flow that you have right now? Why is that the way that it is? Why aren't you where you want to be? So you have this other side where you see this income number, this cash flow number. You want to write down, why aren't you there? Why aren't you able to get to that number? And then you want to write down what's stopping you. What's stopping you from going from where you are right now to where it is that you desire to be? This is called thought data. So you want to write down all your thoughts that you're having with these three questions and collect that thought data. And it's going to show you what you've been creating currently in your results. What type of beliefs are already programmed within you. And you want to begin to take that and replace it with new knowledge so that you can create a new cash flow result. This is what I like to call knowledge and thoughts, or in other words, soil and seed. You need soil. You need a belief pattern that's going to be able to grow the seed or your thoughts in a form that manifests the desired results. As Christ tells us, we have what we believe. So if we don't have a belief pattern conducive to housing new thoughts and a new way of thinking about your finances, then it's not going to grow. And so you need both, right? And in the academy, I teach you how to do both. How to change your environment, how to change the knowledge of what you've been programmed and where you've been operating from, and also how to change your thoughts, how to take the thoughts that you currently have that are creating your current result and transition them into thoughts that will help you to create the new money results that you desire. Be blessed.